Message and data rates may apply or consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called it.The. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, it.The can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with it.The?
Call pound 250 with the word CARE to get started today with it.The. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Call pound 250 with the word CARE right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Call pound 250 with the word CARE. That's pound 250 with the word CARE. Pound 250 and CARE.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
From a meeting at the office to a big first date, there's a lot of pressure to wear the right clothes for every event. But clothes don't make the man. So why stuff your closet with things that only work for some situations? With Mack Weldon, you can build a wardrobe that looks polished in any setting. Their clothing is understated and tells the world that you stay you wherever you go. They craft each piece by combining timeless style and modern performance materials, so you can stay looking good and feeling comfortable from morning to evening. No wardrobe changes required. Browse everything from summer-ready tech linen shorts and anti-odor polos to tailored sweats and crews for a night in. They can outfit you for anything, no matter what's on your agenda for the day. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MACK25. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code MACK25.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Hey, y'all. It's Gable Burnett.
Welcome to the show. I'm excited to talk to you. I listened to this song. I played it on the speakers, and I was like, wow, like the production, it sounds amazing. The sound, it was just, first of all, I love the title. It gives me like very much Aries energy.
I love that.
But I love it. But I love going back to the beginning. I always say that the beginning always kind of charts our trajectory where we're going in life. And, our little habits, the things that we, pick up along the way kind of follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And kind of how did you find your way into music?
Oh, yeah. So my childhood was kind of split between two places, East Tennessee and Dallas, Texas. Very, very different places. So I spent like the first 8-9 years in the Great Smoky Mountains. It was beautiful. Where the neighborhood that we lived in was close-ish to the parks. It was close to a lot of undeveloped land as well. So there was a lot of space to run around. Every house is about an acre apart, and everything was separated by like trees and brush and little creeks and different sorts of things like that. I've went back, and since it's much different now. None of that's there since Knoxville's grown so much. Wow. But as a kid, I got to run around all I wanted. My mom would pretty much open the back door and be like, okay, go play. Come back at lunch.
Right. You're like, bye.
Yeah, bye. You gotta go jump on the neighbor's trampoline. I'll see you later. Yeah. I'll catch you at lunchtime, Mom. So I would basically have a lot of my own freedom to kind of do what I wanted and play and have a good time and explore. And I grew up loving nature for that reason. And that's something that's actually followed me into my adulthood. I go hiking and out into the great outdoors quite often.
Love that.
But yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. And Nashville's the perfect place for it. There's like a state park 15 minutes from my house.
Ooh, I have to go.
So I had all that freedom. And then my parents were like, okay, we're going to move to Dallas now. We're going to go for your dad's work and it's going to be different. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. But it didn't quite click in my head how different it was going to be from living in that rural kind of setting to on a busy street corner with traffic going by all the time and not being able to like kind of do my own thing anymore. Nobody had really communicated that to me. So there, that resulted in what inspired Trouble is all the little incidents that kind of happened. Like my neighbor had a koi pond and I went over to their house because I was used to going fishing with my dad because my dad's a very avid fisherman. Nice. And I got a bucket with my friends and I took out one of their koi fish because I was like, oh, it's a big fish. I caught it. Like, look, I just did not even click in my head. These are expensive. These are nice fish. I mean, especially the big ones. And if they're all one color or something, like there's like a whole hierarchy to that I just did not understand. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, Gable, go put it back. Like she just freaked out. I ran away at a Elvis impersonation contest / concert.
Wow.
Yeah, it was at the Arboretum in Dallas and they were handing out glow sticks and I wanted to find a little connector for my glow stick. And so I ran off and no one could find me. And we were with like a bunch of family friends and everyone was freaking out. I came back, I was like, I got my stuff. And they're like, Gable, where have you been? I was like, I used to do this all the time and you guys did not care.
Right.
So what has changed? Like,
yeah. I have to ask, what's your sign? Or, I mean, if you know your zodiac sign?
Oh yeah. I'm an Aquarius. And I've also looked into my like risings and everything. I'm on a cusp too. I'm on the cusp of Capricorn. I'm coming right out of Capricorn because I was born on the 26th. Okay. Yeah. So I'm kind of a cusp sign. And then on top of that, I have, let's see, I think it's Libra as my moon and Cancer rising. I think that's the combo.
Wow. Very interesting combo. Yeah. But it makes sense. Aquarius, I love you guys this sign. Great signs. Yeah. Very, very fun.
Oh yeah, so much fun. And it's great when you click with another person because Aquarius, we're all so different. Every time I go to the store looking like for the zodiac themed stuff, they have the nail polish, they have the bracelets, or they have whatever. And like it might work for maybe one Aquarius. I'm not that Aquarius. We're all so different. But
yeah.
Let's go find out what that is.
But that makes great music. I mean, as far as like an artist, right? That makes for great songs like Trouble, which I mean, I'm curious, what was that process like writing that? I mean, and like the process of making Trouble.
Of course. So I had been trying to get my music recorded for years, like pretty much since I moved to Nashville. It was kind of an odd thing because I've been on and off here for about 6 years, especially because of the pandemic. Yeah. And I like moved here. I was kind of doing school and some other things. And then everything hit and I was back and forth between here and Texas. And I had a few opportunities in that of like possibly working in a studio where people were trying to be safe and maybe trying to work my music in there and do things here and there, but nothing ever really came through. Then I met my co-writer who helped me write this song. Her name's Andy Renfrey. And she helped write the Buffalo Grass with Chris Ledoux. If you've ever heard that song, very, very classic country song, very underrated. Yeah, and she's fantastic. And this is when the pandemic was starting to light up. So they're very much in-person working people. They invited me over. And I had a list of songs because I had been trying to co-write throughout everything. I'd also been writing by myself, but it was all virtual, of course, on Zoom. And it's just not the same thing as having it all in person or whatever. And so I couldn't really quite find the people that I clicked with to write with at that point. And I was really hoping that Andy would do it because there's only so much you can do by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, for those out there who don't know much about songwriting or any of that, the average number of writers on a hit song is like 3 to 7. It's a lot of people. Most
Yeah.
people don't know that. And so to have any sort of hit by yourself or be able to do that is pretty slim anyway. So might as well open the doors to be like, hey, who wants in on this? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so Andy, she was like, we sat down. I had like a list of ideas that I had been thinking about for a while. And the way that ideas kind of come to me is like, sometimes it's just like in a single lyric. Sometimes it's I get the whole chorus first, or I have like what I think would be a great like intro hook, or I hum a little melody and I keep it in my notes, and it can literally strike anywhere. I've had inspiration hit looking through a magazine, waiting to pick up my Mexican restaurant order, my to go box. So like it really can come from anywhere at any time. And so I'd written down these ideas from what I knew about her, what I thought she might like, and Trouble was on the list. And we had written one song before. That song's not out. I'm not sure when we will put it out. It's a great song. It's called Rumor Mill. But we had already written that one. And so this was our second session together. And we had written the first song that we'd ever done together in 30 minutes. And so I was like, I think that this is like the next one, because I've been.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. The world of fast fashion has complicated clothing production by shipping cheap parts around the world to whoever can sew them the cheapest. And now you, the consumer, are paying the price with rising costs. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. Skip the tariff and snag yourself American-made clothing with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Mulling over this idea forever, and I had all these stories, but I couldn't just kind of form everything together the way that I wanted it to come together. The only thing I really even had was the stories, like the one that I've including the ones that we started out with today, and that just trouble, that's what they call me. That's pretty much all I had. And she had the idea, as soon as I brought it up to her, she's like, oh my gosh, I love that. And we can spell it out at the end. And I was like, I don't know, but it was the right decision at the end of the day. She totally knew what she was doing. And it turned out to be a great song. We wrote it in less than an hour.
Wow.
And yeah, it really came together.
Wow. It's amazing. It sounds great. I love the lyrics. It's just really fun. It's really fun. And I like just your vocal range. Your voice is beautiful. Any inspiration, like who's like one of your inspirations, like as far as like when it comes to like country music, or someone that you look at their career and like, you know what, that's what I strive for?
Right. Okay. So it was kind of odd because growing up, I was only allowed to listen to Christian music for
Right.
at least, at least the first, my parents, God bless them, they were like, we just want you to have like good thoughts and positivity, and we're going to keep it to this. And their intentions were truly coming from a good place of the heart. But it just did not click for me. I mean, the first pop song I ever heard was Katy Perry. It's California Girl. It was on 106.1, which is the radio station KISS radio station in Dallas, when Kid Craddock was still the host. Because
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I love Kid Craddock. And after this event happened, my parents actually let me set my radio station to wake me up in the morning to KISS, which was awesome.
Aw.
And so, yeah, basically, my dad had asked me, because we didn't live too far from the middle school that I went to. He's like, yeah, could you go turn the car on just to let it warm up? Because, like, it's only a 10-15 minute drive. My car is not going to warm up in that time that it takes to drive over there. And I don't want to sit in a cold car the whole time, and then walk you into school. Because he used to walk me into school, like, arm in arm. It was very cute. Yeah, we're very close. I love my dad.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah, shout out to Dad. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Mwah.
We love you.
Yeah, I love you guys so much. Yeah, they basically, this was before Katy Perry had really blown up too.
Yeah.
So he was, because it was one of the first radio stations to ever play her music. So the Snoop Dogg was the featured on that song, and it comes on. It's like,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, let's take a journey. And I was like, let's take a journey. I am ready for this journey. And I was just like listening to it. I was like, this is amazing. Where has this been my entire life? And then my dad got in the car, and I was like singing along to the lyrics, and there's some spicy stuff in there. And he was like, where did you hear this? I was like, well, you asked me to turn the car. No, it's just the radio station that was already dialed up. And he kind of, I guess, realized, okay, this is kind of my fault for leaving it on this station. He's like, okay, like it's fine now. It's okay. And so that just blew open the doors for everything. So really the first musicians I ever had any exposure to were like Katy Perry and Lady Gaga and like all of those.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So all those pop people, and so like I kind of dove into that for a while. And I originally kind of wanted to do pop music because that's what I knew. But we had a couple of family friends, including my first guitar teacher, Dawn Wills, who's related to Bob Wills, who's a Texas country music legend. She was my first guitar teacher. She's amazing. And she never taught anybody. She made an exception for me because she was my Aunt Gable, who I named after his college roommate.
Love that.
Yeah, she was amazing. And she taught me all my basic chords and all the good stuff for me to take and run with. And her, and then also the Gatlin brothers. Rudy Gatlin's wife grew up down the street from my mother. And actually her mother and my grandmother sold real estate together. And
Holy
so
crap.
both of, yeah, I know, it's a small world. Well, it's a big world. It's just not as big as we think it is. Yeah. So they both kind of came together, and they're like, Gable, you need to look at country music. 'Cause I don't think you would, I know you enjoy this kind of music, but I don't think that's really what you should be making. And I was like, at the time it was a lot of bro country. Nothing against bro country. It just, I don't think I was the target audience for that as a young girl. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to sing about trucks and boots and things. And they're like, no. Here are some records. Here's like some Johnny Cash and some Dolly Parton and like all the classic, really hit wonderful people. Just go listen to all this, really dig into it, give it a chance, and then come back and talk to us. And I was like, okay. And so I went and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, I love this. I love this. And then the Ken Burns documentary sold me on it even more.
Love that. Yeah.
And it kind of that became a full circle moment for me, combining my experiences growing up in East Tennessee and Dallas. Because, it's a metropolitan city versus the rural countryside. And it's like, well, at that point, I kind of had a bit of identity issue of, well, am I country? Am I like really country? Or am I a city girl? Like what's kind of my whole, like, what am I about? And it helped me realize that I'm both, and I can bring both into this.
Exactly.
I'm a little bit of city, but I'm a little bit of country too. Both can be a part of me, and I don't have to pick.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful narrative now because it's like you said, that's been the thing in that genre. But it's interesting. Like you have artists like nowadays that like I'll even go as far as saying Beyonce, she did a
Yeah.
Cowboy Carter, she's from Texas, and you know, that sound, you're just like, whoa, what is this? Like, I've never heard anything of that. Like, it was just so different. And, you have Dolly Parton who stamps it, and all these greats. And it's like, you can do anything you want to do, and you could be anything you want to be. And I love that. So why not be both?
Exactly. Why not be both? And so that's really the mindset I've gone into my music with. And kind of going back to your question that you asked earlier, what inspirations do you have? Well, I did grow up with the radio and some of that, but at the same time, I grew up with streaming. I was one of the first kids to have I grew up with VHS tapes, but I was one of the first kids to be exposed to an iPhone. So it's just kind of this weird middle ground. So I grew up with mostly streaming, and that meant that I didn't have to be restrained simply to whatever LPs my parents had in the house or cassette tapes or anything like songwriters and musicians that have come before me. I had the whole internet at my fingertips, and
Going back to school felt impossible. Then I learned that VA covered tuition, supplies, and a housing allowance. So instead of focusing on my bills, I could focus on my books. Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Ever get the feeling you're being watched online? It's Data Brokers. They collect your personal info, your browsing habits, where you live, and who you're related to, and then sell it to the highest bidder. Aura helps stop that. Aura automatically removes your personal info from data broker sites and keeps it off. It also monitors the dark web, protects your devices, alerts you to real-time threats, and more. Start your free trial at aura.com/listen. That's AURA.com/listen for your free trial.
I could look up any song in seconds and just check it out. And so that has led to kind of a process for me where my main two influences are David Allan Coe. Yeah, it's David Allan Coe and Dolly Parton, and that's it.
Oh, I love Dolly. Oh, I love Dolly. I love her. I really it's so she's just so cute. She's just so sweet, and she's like, you just want to be like, she's like everyone's grandma. Like, you're like, oh my God.
She's so sweet. She's so fun. She is everyone's grandma. She was actually, she says she's most proud of being everybody's book lady. At the elementary school I went to, Rocky Hill Elementary School in Knoxville, Tennessee, they had a cutout of Dolly.
I love that.
Behind one of the bookshelves, like tucked in this corner. And the bookshelves are pretty tall. And Miss Dolly is not a tall lady. And it's a life-size little cutout of her. She's like a little, I don't know her exact height, but she's around like 5 foot, 5'5", something like that.
She's tiny. I got to go to Knoxville, Tennessee some years ago when they first opened up the Dolly Parton, when she actually was there, and we got to meet her, and she cut the ribbon, and I was like, holy crap, it's Dolly Parton, holy crap. And she was just so sweet, and she was like talking to everyone. I'm like, oh my God, it's Dolly Parton, what's happening? She was really tiny, but I'm tiny too. I'm 5'4", so.
Oh yeah, no. So I mean, this little cutout though, they put it like near, I think, the picture books or something. And every time I'd be walking around the library looking for books, I would forget that it was there. And so I would turn the corner. It was a jump scare every single time. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a person back here. No. It was okay. It was just Miss Dolly. But I would always forget it was there. And then I'd be like, I don't want to go back there. I always there's always something back there. And I never remember what it is. But she's just wonderful. And so really my main influences are just her and David Allan Coe. The clean albums, not the dirty ones. I would like to preface that. And every other influence is a song-to-song basis. So if I'm writing a song, it's like, oh, I might pick inspiration from this one Johnny Cash song, or I might pull a little bit from this one song. So everybody else is a song by song basis, but those are really the two solid influences that I have.
I love that. That's a great answer. I have a fun question, and there's no wrong answer, but the the three levels. You're so funny. You could be a comedian. You're hilarious. It's like natural. Um, the three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. And if you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Oh my goodness, that is a really good question. I think I would choose respect because, I mean, growing up in Dallas, I saw a lot of people with money, and no amount of money you have is ever going to make you happy. I know that some people think that, but I mean, genuinely, a lot of the folks in Dallas, especially the kids that I grew up with, they were some of the most miserable people I've ever been around. And, I didn't understand it at the time, but looking back, it just kind of breaks your heart, Um, so let's see. So and respect, that kind of plays into like who I'd like to base my career off of, which is Dolly. She's given back so much. She's based her, entire empire, well, I guess we should call it, on serving other people, really, through the music.
I love
So
that.
yeah, so that's ultimately what I would like to do, to the best of my ability, of course. No one's perfect.
Oh, well, you're doing a great job. It's a beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. What like kind of keeps you going? Because I'm sure sometimes this business is very like, especially the music world, it's very up and down. And then you see other artists on, just like how it, you got a Taylor Swift, you just all these people that are just still doing it, the longevity. And just how to keep it going. And I'm sure sometimes it's you don't feel inspired or wanting to do it every day. What keeps you going in those tough times?
Oh yeah. Well, you're definitely right about there are definitely tough times in this industry and this business. It's not easy by any means. It's very competitive. Um, I know that Lainey Wilson in her recent documentary talked about how like she was basically alone for years on end because she just didn't know who to trust. And that's a sentiment that I think carries on to me. I'm lucky enough to have friends that do other things outside this industry who are just like, wow, cool. So I can kind of plug into them and get support there. And of course from my family, which I'm very grateful for, because I know that's not the case for everybody. When I'm feeling, kind of down and out, but ultimately what I think keeps me going the most is the ability to connect with other people through my music. Because throughout the course of my whole life, I've always tried to like find the one group that I fit in, or find the one place that I really belong, or, that sort of thing. And the only place I've ever really been able to find it is in music.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
even if it's with non-musical, even when it comes to non-musical people, I can always connect to people through the music and through the art. And it's always been the one place where I felt like that I've really been able to find my people and connect with that. And so knowing that even though it's slow and this is a place where you have to prove yourself, because nobody's just going to open the door and let you in, no matter how talented or kind or how many resources you have.
Yeah.
That's worth it to me.
Love that. No, that's beautiful. And I totally agree with that. Like when you find your people, like you just know. I grew up in Florida, a Floridian girl, and I was the one that was like, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and be a filmmaker and do this. And my parents were like, oh, okay. I didn't feel like my people were in Florida, like I just didn't feel like I fit in. And then when I went to California, I was like, ah, yes, my people. I felt like everything connected, so I totally get that.
Just fell into place. It just worked.
Yeah, it really does. And I think it takes a leap of faith, like to step out in something of like the unknown, because you don't know what's out there. But
no, you don't. And for some people, I know it can be a really big deal because they are comfortable where they are. But for me personally, it was always a situationship. Well, not a situationship. I don't think that's the right word. But like a situation where I was like, I have nothing here for me. There's nothing here for me. So I have nothing left to lose by going after this. If I had found my people or my group or any of that, I think before the music industry, I wouldn't have been half as motivated as I am right now
Nice.
to be doing what I'm doing.
Nice. All right. A fun question. When you get to the end of your life and you get to the pearly gates of heaven and you meet God, what would you want God to say about you and all the things that you've done on the earth?
Let's see. Probably just well done, my good and faithful servant. Like, you weren't perfect, but you did your best, and you always had the ability to try to fulfill what you thought that I would want, and make decisions that would ultimately go toward my greater purpose that I have for your life and the lives of the people around you. And that ultimately, and you served well, and
Okay.
helped others, and that's probably what I would want to hear.
I love that. That's beautiful. I read that you're gonna be performing in August. Is that correct? Are you excited about that?
Yes, I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about going to the Mockingbird Theater. It's such a wonderful place. It's in the factory here in Franklin. It's like a suburb of Nashville that they're like, "That's Franklin." That's what it is. Uh, it's this really cool old factory that different parts of it have been converted into shops and different things. It's very historical. It's very cool. And of course, they have the Mockingbird Theater that's part of that. And so I'll be having that kind of showcase there in
Oh,
August. And it's so
wow.
exciting. I'll be on it, and a bunch of other really great artists are going to be on it. It's going to be a really fun night. I already have a bunch of people who are so excited. They're like, "I can't wait to go." So,
That's
yeah.
exciting. Well, congratulations. Do you love performing, or do you get like how do you get over the nerves of performing and going
Oh
up
my God.
and like
Yeah, because performing was really difficult for me, especially when I started out, because I knew I loved the songs and the writing, and I knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, but I didn't know quite how to get there. And
mm,
I had done classical work for years and all these
nice.
different competitions and things. I did opera, I sang in like 7 different languages. I did all these contests,
Whoa.
like, yeah. And at some
Amazing.
point, I'd love to bring back singing in different languages into a different part of my career, especially like Spanish or like regional languages like Cajun or like
Wow.
Texas German. I would love to incorporate that somehow at some
Yeah.
point. But um, let's see. I I really, for the most part, all those competitions, it's you in a room with like two judges, three judges, sometimes only one. And so you really
Yeah.
only need to focus on those few people. It's a very small setting. So when I was first starting out, they used to have a writers round in Dallas over at the House of Blues. So you could just go over there and put your name on the list, and they would let you sing. And I just started learning guitar, and just started writing my own songs, and I would get up there and I would forget my own lyrics, and I would drop my guitar and I would like,
Aw.
I know, like I was so, or my pick or something, and I would stop mid song, and like it just, but I was not gonna let it deter me. I said, I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna go up there again and I'm gonna do it again. And next
Nice.
time it's gonna be
Nice.
better. And like, what can I learn from this? Because I just was so determined um to do it. I mean, there was even one time when a group of people from my school kind of found out about it, and they got like a table. And these weren't people that were particularly nice to me either. They just came to see the shit show. So
Oh
like,
no.
I know. So I literally had to, I just, oh gosh, I totally bombed that performance, and I still wouldn't let it get to me. I was like, I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm gonna find a way around it. And I've come so far. I mean, even since artist development recently that I've been doing with Kim Sandusky and my team of people who've been amazing, and how they've been putting through me through all that. It's been such a transformative experience that,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm so much more comfortable on the stage even than I was prior to that past experience, but even before this one. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it's come such a long way. I think it will be very much a big moment. I can just kind of feel it. But we'll see what happens.
I mean, hey, look at you now. I mean, you're doing amazing stuff. Like, hey.
Here I am.
What advice would you give to, those those listeners out there that want to get in the music industry?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to go for it. Don't be afraid to go for it. Don't be afraid what other people think. Um, just, put yourself out there. And yeah, it might work out. And that would be amazing. It might not work out too. I mean, you just never know what direction it's going to go. But there's so many people that, especially when I moved to town, when I first started going to networking events, organizations, like older people who retired and moved to Nashville because their dreams haunted them for the entirety of their life through raising kids and trying to keep their jobs and doing all these things. And they're super talented and they end up seeing some success, but they would have had even more success if they had just come when they were younger and had followed their dreams in the first place. And so they still missed out a little bit on what they felt like was their calling. So, don't do that. Don't, spend your life thinking, well, I wonder if I had went to like LA or New York or Nashville or wherever. Don't let that little voice get to you. Just go for it and see what happens. And if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, you have the peace of knowing that it wasn't meant to.
Exactly. Like I feel like if you don't, I think life without risk is not really living, right? If you don't take risk, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You can fly or
So
you can fall. You just never know until you go.
absolutely. I love that. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Oh, also, where can people find where you are on social media to follow everything you got going?
Absolutely. My username on everything is at it's just Gable, ITS just Gable, Gable. It's spelled like Anne of Green Gables or Clark Gable. It's spelled the same way. So that's the little tag that y'all can find me behind.
Love it, love it, love it. Really quick, do you have like a quote that stays with you that like or something advice that someone gave to you that you're like, yeah, that just sticks with you throughout your journey?
Oh yeah, there was a time when Minnie Pearl, it was her first performance at the Opry ever, and I think it was one of the hosts, it might have been one of the featured artists of the night, came up to her and she said, and because she was so nervous, she's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and they said, go out there and just love them, and they'll love you back, and so that stuck with me.
I love that. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And
Absolutely, I love talking to you too. This is so fun.
that makes me happy. Come back anytime, anytime. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.